This is Yerushalmi Shabbos. The article is by Addition on Daf Lamadad Amav, counting up from the Mishnah Halacha Ches, the 10 lines above that, Rav Huna B'Shem Rebbe, and then the Vilna that is on Chav Zayin Amud Beis, counting up again from the beginning of Halacha Ches to Mishnah 3, 6, 9 lines up. So yesterday you mentioned a sulam, and the sulam has either 3 or 4 rungs and it. And the Pnei Moshe points out there's a Sulam Mitzri and a Tsuri. A Sulam Mitzri is a shorter one. It's like a step ladder. A Sulam Tsuri is a higher one. It's like it's a real ladder. And the question is, why mention the difference? Which you mentioned is the difference between 3 or 4 rungs. So Rav Huna B'Shem Rab said in Shabbos seminars. So in terms of Shabbos, a step ladder you can move. It's like a chair. A ladder you can't move to kavel makom. Presumably you can move it under certain circumstances, but if you kavel makom because it is a ladder, then you can't move it. So the Gemara says that the first for Shabbos. Then Chizka b'shem the base Rabbi Yana says in Chazokas is Amaris. It's in terms of Chazokas as the Korban Eda says that Shloshel is Chazok l'sulam. If one neighbor put a ladder in his other neighbor's property to get to his roof or something like that, so up to 3 rungs, it's not a Chazaka because it's not a real ladder. It's a step ladder with a step stool, which is made to move. Above, step stool. Above 3, if it's four rungs, then it's a ladder, and then it can establish a chazaka. And once a neighbor has it for 3 years, the other neighbor can't demand its removal. Rabbi Yosef Shimon the base Rabbi said tumi samars. It's in terms of tuma. At the Korban points out that shlosha abu hari kukisa after 3, it's a step stool. It's a chair, and therefore the makabel tuma b'medras azov. It's said to be if Zav sits in it, it's a makabel tuma. Because it's when Zav sits in it because it's royally yeshiva. If it's more than 4 rungs and Zav sits on it more than 4 rungs, then it's Zav. This time Yuchal Yeshiva. If Zav sits on it, it's not going to be a Moshe Vasav. It's not going to be Makabel Tuma by him sitting on it. Rabbi Achai v'Shem Barachina, Rabbi Yosef v'Shem Yechon Menorah Katan with the Tafla, the small menorah you're allowed to carry it. It's as Carmena points out here. It's a small menorah. It's not made to keep in one place. A large menorah is, so therefore the large menorah you can't. It's covered your kavel makom. You can't carry Shabbos. Menorah you can. So says the Gemara. Below kliyu is it obviously allowed to carry? It's a keli like any other keli. Below komin abayis min komin shabayis min muchanu, and it's like any other keli in the house which is muchan, meaning that you're allowed to carry it on Shabbos. Of course, the klish mechta Israel it's so guvun komin allowed to carry it on Shabbos. Rabbi Yisrael bun tipot shlochim ol schera. We're talking about where you brought the menorah with you somewhere in order to sell it, not to use it in the house, and therefore it's also that's a form of muktzah as well, something which you're designated for the purpose of schera. So the O Shabbos, Erev Shabbos im chashecha v'lo shmas min klum, or that the menorah got into his house Erev Shabbos with chashecha. He didn't know it existed. In other words, before Shabbos, and therefore I might say that it's muktzah because perhaps it has to be known to you and designated as a household vessel. Kamash on that no, you don't have to. It's not necessary. By default, it doesn't become muktzah because it's a keli like any other keli. But that's a chiddush that even though you know about didn't know about Shabbos, and I guess because also klisha machlis, I might say it's automatic muktzah. No, the default is that it's permissible. Halacha ches. Nothing klitachas in there l'kabel nitoitzes. You can put a vessel under the candle to get the sparks. But don't put water in it. Mination mechaber. The Carmen says, so what? He says, going to do Erev Shabbos. He says, Erev Shabbos is going to let him do Erev Shabbos. I also remember Hochi B'Shabbos. Before you're going to do it on Shabbos. And we're not concerned about this by other malachas. And people don't think of it as being malacha because it just gets extinguished on its own. But you can't put it there you can't put it there on Shabbos. Therefore, don't do it on Shabbos. So there's all the portions of the Abraham Moshe. All changes of gears here being in the Gemara. Hachat Amar Nostin Kli Dachas and Ner Lekabel Nitzoitzos. V'loitain Tochamayim Neshim Mechabe. Okay, fine. But Hacha at Amar, but elsewhere you say, uh, I forgot to change the gear says, Hacha at Amar, take out the word Ein. Hacha Amar Nostin Kli Dachas and Ner Lekabel Nitzoitzos. V'loitain Tochamayim Neshim Mechabe. Hacha at Amar, else you say, Ein Nostin Kli Tachas Aner. So what is the what's the difference? This is a previous Mishnah where we said you can't put a keli under the nair. So the Gemara says in that previous case, which was the prior Mishnah, the kaim sheish tzarich b'shemen, you want the oil, and so there you're not allowed to put the kli there because you can't remove it from the kli. They can't remove that oil from the kli, and so therefore you're about to kli mechana. You're canceling the use of the kli on Shabbos. You're not supposed to do. But kan and it's says here there's no you don't need the spark, so therefore you're gonna you can just shake them out of the vessel, and you're not going to be about to kli mechana. So there's no issue of negating the use of the kli on Shabbos, which is something which we frown upon. Okay, so it says when later b'tochel mayim b'nei mechaber. Is that header on the article also? Yeah. Shmuel b'shem Rabbi Zira Rabbi Yossi. That's going to Rabbi Yossi. The Karmei says prepare kol kis v'kodesh tani oisim mechitza b'chol kelim. You can make a wall in front of a fire with all kelim ben meleim ben rekonim, whether they're full or empty. Shishlo tavor et leika, so the fire does not pass. Rabbi Yossi osir b'kli cheres chodeshim forbids with new kli cheres meleim might film for water. Shein cholim l'kabel, or because they can't withstand the fire. It's bakin umecham is leika. So they burst and they extinguish the fire. It's really gram kibui aser. So the Rabbi Yossi holds gram kibui is aser, and our Mishnah also holds gram kibui is aser. Therefore, you can't do it on Shabbos. So therefore, we don't let you do it on a weekday as well. Now the Korban Abraham and Moshe both changed from the Rabbi Yossi to Rabbi Yossi, because not Rabbi Yossi the Tano we just quoted, Rabbi Yossi the Moira. They he says having Rabbi Yossi says having seven men. I want to say ma plikin Rameir Rabbanan. That what is the machlekes Rameir Rabbanan and the Karmei again changed that to Rabbi Yossi the Tano and Rabbanan. B'sha'asa mechitza shel kelim. If you made a mechitza of kelim, which has water inside, which is not going to be mechabe until it breaks open, so it's gram kibui, right? So there's a burst and the water fills out. It's gram kibui. But you must have mechitza shel mayim, but you made a mechitza of water itself. It's also that's because then it's that much more direct mechabe, right? So because it's even without the kelim bursting, it's automatically mechabe. Rabbi Yossi, from that which is our Mishnah says that from the phrase that Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi say that our Mishnah, which is direct, you're putting water in, right? Putting water in the keli, and he said it's Rabbi Yossi. So it comes out that even a mechitza shamayim is a machlekes, and that means that in other words, according to Rabbanan who are mekel, they mekel even a mechitza of water. That's also to be gram kibui. It's not kibui mamash because it's not putting water on the fire is meeting up with the water. So therefore, they'd be matir, not just the case of the bursting keli, where the water then bursts out of the keli, but even the case where you put down water itself, as long as you didn't put the water on the fire went to the water. You didn't bring the water to the fire fire went to the water. Okay, Hajla Parakira. Next paragraph, Bamet Toimin. Bamet Toimin ain't Toimin. What can you do at Mana? What can't you do at Mana? So you can't pull out the mana b'davar ma'asif hevel. It's only a gefes. You can't use the olive refuse of lo zevel nor manure, nor b'melch, nor salt, lo seed, not plastic, lo b'chol, not sand, bein lach and lo b'yivashim, whether they are moist or dry. Lo b'tem, you can't use straw, lo b'mukin, not flock fabric, lo b'zugin. Zagin is zagin in the Carmeda, which is grape refuse. Lo basavim, nor with grasses, manchem lachin. Only when they're moist. I will turn back and you can do to them when they are dry. Turn exclusive pairs, and you can do that with garments, with fruits, with dove's wings, nourish a pishon, and with dust of linen, and with fine sawdust. Rabbi Yosef said, it says fine sawdust is usher, coarse sawdust is mutter. Okay, so says Gemara, why these things are a problem? Because these things are hot and they cause the things in which you're reminding them to get hot as well. Now, if you look in the article here, the Gemara says that the next Gemara, next few lines are extremely difficult, and even after his commentary, he doesn't, which is based apparently on the Ridbaz, it's still difficult. So he says, right, he's going to do his best. So I'm going to try my best here, which is based on it's some Mahalach, which from my Chabrusa back in Tafshin Samach Beis in 2002. His name was Reb Leiby. Said to explain this Gemara in a very, very, very nice way. But first, before we get to the main meat of that, the next line. And he takes them instead of vehain. The Leiden manuscript here says not vehain vav hey nun, but ve'ain tashim yodo. They don't dissolve in his hand. They remain. They don't cool down. Umachziron. You put them back. And they add more boiling because of the moment. Therefore, you're not allowed to do ashmon on them. So they don't ain tashim l'toch yado would mean that they don't lose their heat, and therefore, afraid you're going to put it back. You're going to come to because you can still it gets heated up again. But the according to the gifts we have here, I think this is the way we learned it. In the Vilna and Daf Chav Gimel and Beis in Berak Gimel Halacha Gimel, which in the I have to find the article. The article is Daf Chav Tes Me'alv. It says the Ikrat Mona there by Chol Avak Drachim. The problem was you're not allowed to be minding Chol Avak Drachim because you'll be Osa Chritz. You're going to make a hole, and the from there we see that it seems that we can understand the Yerushalmi that the primary isser of Moisef Hevel was that you might make a hole, in the ground, right, in order to heat it up better, and therefore they asked any Moisef Hevel, lest you come to the Chol Nabak Drachim, and so that's when it says. We didn't answer it just in the ground. We answered anytime you're going to make a chritz, and perhaps also even if it's not connected to the ground, it's like making a keli. So therefore, they answered anytime it's a chritz, and that means toshim l'toch. When you take this stuff, which is ma'aseh hevel, it's going to it collapses in your hand. Umachzirin, and you could put it back and make another chritz. So therefore, we're not going to let you do it because we're going to make another cleats to put it back, get more hevel, and therefore that's either you're going to come to the ground, which is mamish deraisa, or you're going to make something which is like a kli and your hakmanan setup. And therefore, we didn't feel also moment. Therefore, we didn't let you do hakmanan them. Okay, Elazar ben Azariah, and this goes. It's like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Kupa Matel Tita ben Noitel. That he said that The if you're not going to take something out of the place where that mora, but you're going to pour from the keli by bending it, turning it sideways, the then it should be okay because then there's no issue with a chritz. You're not taking it out, and then it's going to collapse. And you're going to put it back and make a chritz because you're taking the whole container clean, turning it sideways in order to pour it out. And another way in which it could be mutter is Rabbanan Tamon, like Rabbanan, the Rabbanan Eretz Yisrael, and this is evidently the Rabbanan who are matir to be matmin chamin and chamei tveria, where you're being matmin one clean and another clean, so there's nothing to collapse. So Rabbanan Tamon, Dino Omri, they said im haisa yura, if you're matmin one pot in another pot, mutter, because there's no issue of tasha tochiot, it's not going to collapse, and you have to make a chritz because it's one pot within another pot. So these are two cases in which it seems the Yerushalmi would say, some Yerushalmi says it would seem that being matmin u'davar moisef hevel should be mutter. When you have a kuppah, you can be matel tzida, and you can pour out of the keli directly. And when you have being matmin yura, a pot inside another pot, yura b'toch yura, where again you're not going, there's nothing to collapse, and therefore you could pour. And of course, this would be something like I guess like a thermos, right? It's, since it's not going to, even if it's how to get a moisiv hevel somehow, it wouldn't be a problem because there's nothing which is going to be tashidok yada, which then you're going to have to reassemble and make a chritz. Now, even though the next line starts vit hamatina, it's really another issue. It should be probably taman without the above, and it's already the top of Lamed Hey Ralph, so we'll stop here for today. Shortish day from Masech Shabbos.